But this guy's fighting out of Mighty Warriors, so he's gonna be strong, bro. Ah, okay. Bro, this card is actually looking very good. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Strikes and Strangles. This week, we're bringing you a preview of the Versus Fight Night 9 card that's happening this weekend. If you didn't know, now you know.
Here we go. Okay, so we're just going to run through it quickly. It's a card that we only have 2 fighters on, so quite interesting. The one's not on the card for now, but we'll talk about it regardless. And we're going to start from the prelims and then go through that. I think should we start with that one that's not on the card?
Yeah, let's start with that one that's not on the card. So it's KB's going to be fighting out of Pandemonium, and he's going to be fighting up against Plooy, if we're not mistaken. Plooy was originally on the card up against Henny Portis. But yeah, it looks like KB's going to step in and take that fight.
Yeah, so exciting matchup. I don't know anything about Plooy, but I know a lot about KB. He's a national kickboxing champion at the moment for this year, so that is his game. He does have a bit of ground, and he's been working with us for 9 months now? 10 months?
Yeah, about 9
No,
months.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'd say a little bit more. He's actually very, very bright future for him in MMA, so really excited to see him step into the MMA cage. It is his MMA debut, and expecting some great things from him, so really excited for that.
Yeah, and I think another thing is it's amazing that his MMA debut is actually going to be filmed by Versus, because one day when he is in the UFC, because he has the potential to get there, you can always go back and see that, hey, this was his very first fight, so it's going to be interesting to see the level that he brings to this fight.
Sure. Predictions on that one? How do you think it's going to go, Joel?
Maybe knockout round 1.
You're right. Okay, I'm going to say nerves are going to get the better of him, and I rate he'll get the finish in round 2. So that's what I'm going to stick with. Okay,
Cool.
We're going to jump on the card. Next, we're going to go with some Andre Kapp with Stefan Booysen. What do you think of that one, Joel? That's a good fight, especially for prelims.
Yeah, I think it is a very good fight. We've seen both the guys fight before. Stefan was supposed to be on one of the cards, but he had his child, so didn't fight that weekend. Yeah, I think on this one I'm going to go with Stefan. Andre is good. In his last fight, he actually fought the Tico, who's the main event. And he did well in round 1.
Sure.
But it looked like fitness got the better of him in round 2. Or Tico got the better of him in round 2. But yeah, my official prediction on this one is going to be Stefan Booysen.
Yeah, look, I think I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think I think Stefan's just got a little bit too much experience for Kapp. And I actually see him getting a finish in this one. So yeah, that's an exciting one. Next up, we have Nsiona versus Ferreira at welterweight.
Yeah.
This is a juniors fight, or is it normal?
I don't know if it is a juniors fight. I don't think it is, because if I'm not mistaken, Nsiona is 26. Sebastian he's part of the junior, so he's the junior welterweight champion for South Africa.
Okay. So how do you see that fight going? Sorry, I don't know either of them.
No, that's fine. So Nsiona is coming from Mighty Warriors, which is generally more of a kickboxing background, and Sebastian has more of a wrestling base. Sebastian's coach is Stefan Pretorius, Mr. Kicks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that gives you a little bit of background.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a very, very good fight, but I do think Sebastian will probably take this one.
Okay, so just question with that, just going back to Plooy. Does he train out of the same gym?
I'm not sure where Plooy trains.
I think he does. He must. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've rolled a couple of times with Sebastian. When we went through to CRT and did that training camp, he was my main partner, and I was very impressed with his skills.
Okay, so you're going to go with Sebastian on this one. Probably ground finish. Okay.
Ground finish, probably
unless he gets
round 2.
Okay.
I don't think that one.
Okay. And then next up?
So next up we have Sekgetho up against Mabilo. Mabilo, he had that knockout over Julius in Versus Fight Night 7, which was quite a good knockout and memorable. I haven't seen Sekgetho fight, so just based on that, I'm going to go with Mabilo, probably a TKO round 2 or 3. He seems to do better when the guys start to get a bit tired.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with you on that. I've got the same opinion. Next up, we've got Parbhoo versus Golden. I think this is actually a really good fight. We've seen both of them fight. They both fought at the last versus as well. Both coming off a loss. I'd say Kenneth probably performed better than Parbhoo.
Yeah.
But I feel like Parbhoo was very unlucky to lose that fight. I think he was in complete control and then just got caught. I think it was either end of the second or beginning of the third. I do think it's predominantly going to be standing. Both guys do have some ground skills. I'll give Kenneth the advantage on ground. And then timing and technique of strikes I'm going to give to Parbhoo. How I think this one's going to go is probably around 3 TKO for Parbhoo or decision win for Parbhoo.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be a little bit too flashy. A little bit too much.
Yeah, it's cool. Kenneth, obviously, he has the distance and the range. So if he's able to utilize that well, he can pull something off. But I think in this matchup, I am leaning a little bit more to Parbhoo as well. But Kenneth does have that kickboxing background and those skills. I think Parbhoo probably will be a little bit better on the ground, if you were to ask me.
I think so. Okay.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this fight goes.
Sure. So the reason I actually went with Parbhoo is he had those like really flashy spinning heel hooks. And I know Kenneth likes that distance range. But I feel like he's going to be right in that range. I think Kenneth's going to have to dirty box, close, and look for clinches in order to get going and wait for Parbhoo to tire out a little bit.
Yeah, look, if I was Kenneth, how I would start this fight off is I would try and get respect from early on with that jab. I'd pop that long jab out, stiff into the guard or even and get onto the face, but just use that jab as a piston every time Parbhoo wants to come in, maintain that range, and then start to work off of the range. That's what I would do if I was Golden.
Yeah, and watch for the kicks. The kicks are quick and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on, we have Bok versus Mbizani. I've not seen either fight. Kelvin, you said you've seen Bok fight before.
Yeah, I've seen him fight quite often, actually. What do we know about Mbizani? Do we know what gym he's from?
Let me go take a look quickly.
Yeah. So Geraldo Bok, the last time I saw him fight was actually at Worlds when I was there. He was fighting at Bantam. And the previous time I saw him fight was GFC. And the previous time before that was Africans. So Bok he's actually really good. I feel like the only problem that he has is pulling the trigger. But I feel like he's not going to have that problem anymore. He's just spent, I think it's a month or month and a half in Thailand at the end of the year. And I think it was Bangkok, might be mistaken.
Okay.
But he's taking MMA really, really seriously. The shape he's in is absolutely incredible. So I don't know anything about Mbizani, so I'm going to stick with Bok. I'm going to say round 2 or late round 1 to go.
So the only thing I'm seeing from Mbizani is that he lost to Zanderberger in 2022. Obviously, topology is not that up to date with the South African fighters. It's quite frustrating, actually. But yeah, based on that, it seems like he's spent a while out of the cage. I'm going to just go with what you know and say Bok will probably take that one.
Yeah, look, if he's lost to Zanderberger, then bet you, if you could bet your house on Bok. I don't see a way for him to win, unfortunately.
Okay. Cool. Then moving on, we have Dithupe versus Moyo. So Dithupe, he shared the cage with me, and we won fight of the night for the last one. So very solid kickboxer. Some very good ground defense, fantastic sweeps and reversals. No, we saw him as just a kickboxer, but decent ground defense on the night. Arnold Moyo, he, if I'm not mistaken, is fighting out of pound for pound. Let me just double check that before I'm lying to you guys. Yeah, so he's fighting out of Attila's MMA.
Okay.
No history on him there. I know it's not his debut. I know he does have fights.
Okay.
I just don't know what his record is.
Sure.
But
Sure.
I'm going to go with Reginald over here with a TKO in round 2.
Look, Reginald is very active in the kickboxing scene as well, so I think experience-wise, I think we're going to stick with him. Probably, I agree with you, TKO round 2.
And I'm making another bet on this one.
Hmm?
Reginald and Moyo are going to win fight of the night. If you go back and you check Reginald's fight history, I think of the 4 or 5 fights that I looked at, 4 of them were fights of the night. So he does a very good job of entertaining the crowd. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in.
Okay, then up next, onto the main card. I'm pretty sure the order is going to start with Kham versus Hinda. What do you think of that one?
I don't know Hinda. I know you said you know Hinda. I think Jabu is very underrated. His skill set is a lot better than people give him credit for. He did very, very well in nationals. I think he surprised a lot of people there as well. Again, I don't know Hinda, so I'm going to go with Jabu on this. I know you know Hinda, and you think probably Hinda.
Yeah.
I'll disagree with you vehemently on this.
Okay. So Hinda, also from Namibia. So also I saw him fight at Africans, then GFC, then Worlds. He does pretty well, but he spent longer than Geraldo in Thailand. I saw he had a fight there as well, Muay Thai fight, which he won. I think it was via decision, but he was shocked with a lot of things that he was learning from the coaches. So you could see he could land something, and then he would turn to his corner and point at them and be like, "Oh shit, that actually works." So if you remember, he actually got one of the best knockouts of 2022 for IMF with that head kick against the Mauritius guy. Look, it looks really good, but the guy from Mauritius couldn't fight at all. I don't know what he was doing there. But I am going to stick with Hinda, and I'm going to say he's going to come out violently and probably get a round 1 finish. It doesn't matter if it's on the floor or on the feet. If you remember Chisel, we used to train with?
Yeah.
Hinda choked him out.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, even with that added information, I think you're discrediting Kham's skills over here. Just like I think many of the guys in the MMA scene. I think Kham is going to surprise everyone.
Cool. I'm happy if he wins. That I'll eat my words gladly. Yeah.
Cool. Next up, we've got Cleophas up against Oliver. Cleophas is coming from A-Team Stars, and Oliver is coming from Extreme Kickboxing in Middelburg. Heavyweight bout. Is it a heavyweight bout?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Cleophas on this one. I think that this is going to be a very stand-up fight. Both guys coming from kickboxing heavy gyms, and you can't discount the 18 Stars athlete.
Yeah, so 18 Stars versus XKT, so you're right, very kickboxing based. I actually feel like Cleophas is going to win the ground and pound. I think the pediment or pedigree at 18 Stars is very high for the kickboxing, but their grappling is getting there. So I actually rate ground and pound from Cleophas. I think they'll stand the trade for a little bit, and I think you'll realize that Oliver doesn't have the groundwork that he does, and he's going to take it there and finish. That's what I rate.
I'm saying probably a round 2 finish.
Yeah, look, it's heavyweights, so I'm also going to say round 2, worst case, beginning of round.
Okay, moving on, we're going to have Daniel Duda up against Freedom Vilikazi. Daniel Duda is a teammate of ours. He used to fight back in the day in the times of Fight Star. And he's making his comeback into the cage. Freedom Vilikazi, he's fighting out of Silverback Gorillas in Durban. I have fought him before at MFC. He currently is the strawweight national champion in MMA and kickboxing, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah. I think he won both. So obviously you've moved with both guys. How do you feel that's going to go?
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away of Daniel, obviously being a teammate, but yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna start out a little bit cautiously. If you watch him, he likes to take his time to read his opponents. To tell you right now, Daniel's gonna be a tough read, and this is either gonna go down very viciously at the beginning, or it's gonna be a slow poison. I'm thinking probably the slow poison. I think, I I like both guys, man. There's going to be a little bit of a size difference. And yeah, my money's going to be on Daniel. Not only because he's a teammate, but just from moving with him, I think he'll edge it out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you as well. I was rolling to Monday. Today's Monday, so that's our rolling day. I was rolling with Danny. He feels flipping strong, man. He's had a good camp. He's ready to go. I think he's just dying to get in the cage. And if you look at the guys he's fought with, I don't know if you mentioned it. You mentioned he fought Nkosi Ndobela.
Oh no, I didn't
mention that. So the pedigree of guys that he's actually fought is actually pretty high. And I think he's just been dying to get back in it. I'm going to go with him, and I'm also going to go with the first round finish. And unfortunately, I think he's just going to be way too strong for Nsiona to... Not Nsiona? It is?
Freedom.
Sorry, Freedom. Unfortunately, I think he's just going to be too strong for Freedom to deal with. So, yeah, I'm gonna say first round finish. Can happen on feet, can happen on ground, can actually happen anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be first round. I think probably second round. Freedom has come a long way since I fought him in October. He's got a couple of wins behind his name, and he's got a good momentum coming into this fight. I think it's a perfect fight for Daniel to come back and test himself up against someone who's beaming with confidence, especially getting gold at MMA and kickboxing nationals on Freedom fight.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm very interested in this fight.
Okay. Cool. So then next up we got Lamprecht versus Ngobesi. I know Lamprecht. I don't know Ngobesi. What do you know about it?
Just looking it up quickly. I think the last time he fought was in 2019. Yeah, he fought in 2019 up against Sam Homan, and he won with a guillotine. If his last fight was in 2019, which again, it makes it quite difficult with topology not being up to date in the South African field. If his last fight was then, I think he's got a lot of work put out in front of him up against Tyron. Tyron is, for me, he was the fighter of the tournament at Nationals. He ended up fighting on the Thursday already, so he fought 4 times. And yeah, he put on a massive show. It was very impressive.
He currently holds gold, eh?
He got silver. Yeah,
he got silver. Okay.
Yeah, up against Sisa, I think it was.
Okay. Yeah, which is in itself is a crazy fight as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So based off of that as well, I think activity bias and kind of what gyms you train out of, I'm going to go with Lamprecht. But I'm going to say he's going to put on a show. I think he's going to get sub early. So either end of the first or beginning of the second. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay. Yeah, Lamprecht second round for me.
Okay, so then for the co-main event, we've got Josiah Obasi versus Tico van der Berg.
It's light heavyweight championship fight.
Thanks. And is it for the championship?
Yep.
Oh, so it's a 5-rounder.
Correct, yep.
Oh, okay. So we've seen both guys fight. Tico's kind of new on the scene. He's kind of just storm rolling everyone. He did get tested.
Yes and no. Tico actually used to fight back in the day with Fight Stars. So he is new on the scene now. He had a little bit of a hiatus, but he does have experience.
Yeah. So his total record now is 5-0. I think he had 3 fights previously. So I'd still say, okay, sure, not new on the scene, but new back into the scene and steamrolling Oaks. He did get tested a little bit by Kapp in the first round, but then secured the victory. I think it was in the second or end of the first. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But he's got a giant put in front of him. And I don't think Josiah is going to be too intimidated with his physical appearance. I think it's going to be a banger of a fight. I think on the feet, I'm definitely going to go with Josiah. Tico's going to have to close the distance and use his strength and try to get it to the ground as quick as possible. And with it being a 5-rounder, I think fitness is going to play a huge role. I'm going to say both guys are going to have had a really good camp. So championship rounds are going to matter. So I'm going to go with Josiah TKO in the 4th. That's going to be my prediction.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I haven't seen Josiah fight. I haven't seen Tico fight. I've seen Tico warming up on two of the cards that I was fighting at, and it's a scary thing to witness. Yeah, this is going to be a crack of a fight. I'm hoping that that it's a war, and we get to see a show from both these guys. Obasi's coming from Mighty Warriors, Tico coming from Dominator's Den, two great gyms. Yeah, this is also one of the top fights on the card. I'm going to call it Tico TKO after head kick.
After head kick. I don't think he's able to kick just nice kick at all, man. Okay.
We'll see.
Cool.
Okay, and then moving on to the main event, we have Maqam up against Donald Mabusela. This is going to be for the lightweight championship. Kanyo is defending the belt, which he won up against Grant. Kanyo's previous fight is coming off of VVA, where he won gold at Nationals. I didn't check who Donald's last fight was, but if you look at the likes of the people that Donald has fought, he's got some big names there. He's got Eliezer, or Ilaza, I'm not sure how you say that, who's representing African Brave, who has those two scary knockouts. Who else did he fight up against? Let's see if I can just pause it. He fought up against Ken. His last fight on Topology is up against Ken Sekgetho. So not an easy fight. Donald definitely does have the experience to take it to Kanyo. So again, it's a 5-round fight, so that does make it a difference. I think my official prediction is going to be Kanyo with a decision at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you know if Kanyo's going to Africans?
I don't, but I don't think so. I don't think anyone that's on the Versus card is fighting in Africans.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So, I'm not sure why I want to say this, but yeah, I'm not sure where I heard it. But I'm pretty sure I heard that Kanyo's going to be going pro very soon.
So yeah, it's actually on Versus's post.
Oh,
it's his last amateur fight, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, with that, I think this is just the final test of the skills up against a really game and experienced opponent. I think it's going to be a tough fight. I'm going to say Kanyo takes it by a decision. Yeah, that's going to be my prediction. I think he's going to... Yeah, so that's my prediction. I think he's going to weather a bit of an early storm and then incorporate his game plan. It's going to be clinch heavy, it's going to be grappling heavy, and he's going to win by decision eventually. That's the way I see it. I don't know much about Donald. I think I have seen him fight twice, more recently than what's on his topology record. But I think Kanyo's confidence in his win streak going into this, and the fact that he has been fighting 5-rounders for the last little bit, I think he's just going to have too much.
Okay, yeah, no, I think I'm seeing it the same way. Again, Donald can definitely put up an upset, and I say upset in the words quite, I guess, with a pinch of salt. I'm not saying that, sorry, we're not saying at all that Donald is going to be walked over. He's going to put up a good fight, and this is going to be a very good fight for us to remember and look back on.
Yeah, okay, so then just quickly on that, fight of the night for you, is it still going to be Dithupe versus Moyo?
Jeez, bro, I said it early on. I think that definitely does have potential. Kham versus Hinda is leaning that might stand out. And then I want to say the Obasi versus Berg. That's going to be a good fight. So if you had to ask me in order, it's going to be Kham and Hinda, number 1. Obasi and Berg, number 2. And then Dithupe and Moyo, number 3.
Okay. I think I'm going to say fight of the night for me is probably going to be Obasi versus Berg. I think that's definitely going to be fight of the night. I think second fight of the night for me is going to probably be Dithupe versus Moyo, and then Kenneth versus Parbhoo. Well, I'm not going to choose the others because I feel like they're just going to walk over their opponents. So that's going to be my order. What kind of performances does Versus look for awards? Is it knockout, submission? How does it work?
I'm actually not even sure how it works. I think it's just for crowd engagement. I think that's a big one, and exciting fights. So I was going to say back and forth. Like I went back and forth with Reginald quite a bit. So I don't know if that plays a role. Obviously, as a fighter, you don't want back and forth. You want to steamroll and dominate the other guy. But at the end of the day, you're not going out there for fight of the night. You're just going in there to get the job done. And fight of the night is a byproduct of the hard work that you put in.
Okay, cool. Okay, guys, so that's our predictions for Versus Fight Night 9 happening on the 18th of May this weekend at Heartfelt Arena. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, share with your friends, and then let us know your picks in the comments below. We love hearing from you guys and hearing your guys' perspectives. Sometimes you guys know something we don't. So yeah, that's it. That's what we got for you.
That's it from us. Special teams, special plays, special players.